días y bienvenidos otra vez al Polaris Controls Summit 2021. Hoy estaremos presentando una nueva marca. Estamos muy orgullosos de presentar esta marca. Es Pro-Ject, es una marca de tornamesas. Y hoy estaremos recibiendo al señor Jeff Coates. Él es el director de mercadeo y ventas para Pro-Ject Audio System y Sumiko Phono Cartridges en Macintosh Group. Está en Macintosh Group desde hace 5 años y es una persona con una vasta experiencia en todo el tema de HiFi audio y de stereo audio. Mr. Jeff, go ahead and welcome.
Excellent. Thank you. I mean, appreciate the introduction. So today we're here to talk about Pro-Ject audio systems and Sumiko Phono cartridges. Very excited to be joining the team at Polaris Controls to be able to offer these products throughout the Caribbean, Central and South America. Thank you all so much for joining today. So today we're going to start by talking about Pro-Ject, especially. We'll just briefly go through the history of the company, get you sort of our overall product philosophy, a little line review, and then we'll do the same thing for Sumiko Phono cartridges. This presentation will be made available to the folks at Polaris. They'll be able to share this with you after, and we'll have a time for questions at the end of the presentation. But thank you for your attention. So this is me. I'm, as mentioned, I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing here in the United States. I also do most of our trainings, both at live events and on webinars like this one. So for both Pro-Ject and for Sumiko Analog. I've listed our 2 different websites up here at projectusa.com and sumikophonocartridges.com. We'll also have these available towards the end of the presentation, but all of the products that we're talking about here may differ slightly from products that are available in Europe or other parts of the world. So just anytime you have questions about Pro-Ject especially, this is the website to go to see if it'll be available in your market. So without further ado, we're going to get into Pro-Ject turntables and electronics, but starting a little bit about the brand Pro-Ject. So Pro-Ject was founded back in 1991 by a man named Heinz Lichtenegger. Heinz was an audio distributor and still is in Austria. And since then, he's grown the company to be the largest manufacturer of quality turntables in the world. So there's certainly bigger companies that build turntables, but nobody who does so with a real focus on high performance. These are everything we're talking about today is going to be designed and manufactured completely in Europe. And really over our 29 years, this has become the most highly and most positively reviewed turntable product line of all time. Pretty astounding, just the amount of real positive press we've gotten over those 29 years. And a lot of this comes down to our very simple product philosophy. We want to put out the absolute best sounding product at a given amount of money. So sometimes this means a Pro-Ject product might not have every single feature of some of the competition, but know that the parts we do have, we're going to have a better arm, a better cartridge, a more reliable motor. Everything that goes into building a better sounding, longer lasting product is what goes into Pro-Ject. It's one of the things that's very special. And really, this is what comes from having such long history of manufacturing. We've been able to find turntables that were manufactured in our Lidovel, Czech Republic facility all the way back to 1958. So here's a record changer that was built in this factory in the 1950s, long before it was a Pro-Ject factory. They were still putting out really excellent, good quality electronics for the Eastern Bloc countries. So pretty fantastic stuff. Today, Pro-Ject has modernized all of our facilities, and we're putting out approximately 12,000 turntables a month today. Very high quality, all built to ISO 9001 standards, which just means that very, very tight tolerances throughout at all price points, and very, very good reliability. A big part of this is because Pro-Ject is one of the very few manufacturers globally that's what we call vertically integrated, which means that just about everything that goes into a Pro-Ject turntable is built in-house, down to the screws that actually attach the phono cartridge to the end of the tone arm. Those are turned on a CNC machine owned by Pro-Ject in-house. So very few manufacturers have this sort of vertical integration. And this allows us to put out tremendous products that are both consistent and very high quality at reasonable prices. As an aside, and this is especially important for those of you that might not have a large warehouse nearby or a service facility right nearby, every product before it goes into the packaging is fully checked and run in. We really put a lot of time and attention to make sure that these products go out into the world functioning in a good shape. So Pro-Ject in the United States, we're distributed by Sumiko. Sumiko is part of the Macintosh group. So as you've heard in some of your other presentations this morning, perhaps, under the Macintosh group, we own the brands Macintosh Labs, Sonus Faber, and Sumiko Phono Cartridges. We also own Sumiko Audio Distribution. So under Sumiko, we distribute the Pro-Ject audio system brand, of course, that we're speaking of this morning, Rotel, Basso Continuo, and of course, yeah, Pro-Ject audio systems. So just a little bit about how Pro-Ject fits together in the in the US and then also Latin America, now Central America and the Caribbean. Polaris Controls is going to be our sales representative firm for all of basically everything outside of the United States, south in this hemisphere. So we're delighted to have them on, great team, and they'll be able to handle more of your questions as we get up to speed. So let's get into Pro-Ject. So our family of products, really three main sections that we'll be discussing this morning. Turntables, which of course is what we're sort of known for. Our complete line of audio electronics, which we build products for just about every stereo audio solution. We'll discuss that as we go. And accessories, what you'll need to get a system really up and running and playing beautifully. So to begin, turntables. In the 50 minutes that we have today, we won't have nearly enough time to cover all Pro-Ject turntable models and variants. It is a huge line. So my goal this morning was just to give you a bit of a taste of the different models that are available. There'll be a complete catalog available to you through Polaris, and they can sort of discuss more about specific price points. I will reference some price points in here that are approximate US dollar pricing at retail, just as reference. Obviously, things will change territory to territory as it depends on duties and tariffs and such. But T1 series, so to begin, this is our least expensive, but still very high performance lineup. And I love this photo because it really shows what we do so well. Very simple, very high quality. The complete focus of this product is all about getting the best sound from playing back records. So very high quality tone arm, so the portion that actually holds the phono cartridge and swings across the record as it plays. A very high quality medium density fiberboard or MDF plinth. No plastic, which you'll see on a lot of the more basic turntables out there. This one is especially nice for those of you that are maybe not as familiar with turntables, and that is completely set up at the factory. The phono cartridge is installed, the counterweight on the back of the arm is installed. This is ready to go out of the carton. So very simple setup, but it's a nice way to guarantee very good performance right out of the carton. We make three different variants: a basic turntable model, one that also has a built-in Phono Pre-Amplifier, which is perfect for connecting to distributed audio systems, maybe powered speaker systems, such as Sonos or Blue Sound or Hios or what have you. We even build a turntable like this that has a Bluetooth transmitter that could be connected to an AV receiver or powered speaker that has Bluetooth on board. The next significant step up from T-Series is our debut series. This is our most beloved line of turntables, and for many years, this has been our bestseller. If you pick up the last couple copies of Stereophile or the Absolute Sound, both of these received this brand new model, the debut Carbon Evo, received an absolute rave and a recommended component. This has been an audiophile favorite for many years. So this fourth generation of the debut Carbon Evo, more focused on absolute highest performance, but still at reasonable price. So again, a very sophisticated tone arm. In this case, we use carbon fiber instead of aluminum, which is a wonderful material to work with for turntables. And this one also offers some wonderful upgrades. So if you start talking to that client who's more interested in potentially moving up over time, For this product, we build a replacement platter, a replacement sub-platter, even a replacement power supply, and phono cartridge upgrades are available. So you could start with the baseline turntable, which is in the range of $500 US, and you could take this all the way up to an $800 or $1,000 US turntable with those performance upgrades. So it's a fun one. We also have a second model in this line that has a built-in Phono Pre-Amplifier and electronic speed change as well, which is more designed for connection to home theater receivers without a Phono Preamp or to powered speakers or distributed audio systems. Debut series is really where a lot of you would be starting to participate with the line. Our next series kind of goes from that debut price point all the way up to about $7,500 US. So a huge range. And this is where we get into, this is what we call our X series. So it's our best technologies in absolute state-of-the-art designs, but we're still very real-world prices compared to some of the more esoteric products that we see out there. There's a lot of great brands building turntables, but when you start looking at what we're able to do as a company who manufactures 12,000 turntables a month in-house, for $5,000, we could build a turntable that most companies would have to charge $10,000 for. That's just economies of scale. So by the time you get into things like our Extension 9, Extension 10, Extension 12, even our X2, Classic Evo, some of these other lines, unbelievably sophisticated products at very reasonable pricing. These are also the levels where you're starting to notice a wider range of finishes available, and that's simply a function of price. You know, if we have a $500 turntable, we can do a beautiful paint finish, or we can do a really lovely walnut veneer. But at these price points, as we start moving up, we can offer olive and palo santo and mahogany, more options in wood finishes, and some higher end designs. And again, we could spend an entire training just talking about the X series, and I'm sure at some point we will in the future. RPM series, very similar price points to X series, but a very different design philosophy. I like to explain these as our race cars. These are the track cars inside the Pro-Ject line. For a given amount of money, there's no other product out there that will perform as well as some of these X series products, or excuse me, some of these RPM series products. Very different design. They do not include dust covers. These are really all about getting the best possible performance from the tip of the stylus playing back the record. So if you have a client that is into a more avant-garde or a more futuristic presentation, they want something that has a really wonderful look and will give them fantastic performance, the RPM series would be a good place to look. And inside this range, we have models from about $500 US up to about $6,000 US, depending on the options. This is our flagship Rpm10 Carbon that we have here. And this is a complete carbon fiber wrapped chassis that sits on a mass loaded carbon fiber wrapped base. So again, all about eliminating any potential for vibration inside that system and putting the stylus in the best possible location to get the best performance for playback. And lastly, of course, our signature series. Pro-Ject has introduced 2 state-of-the-art models where they took a fresh look at tone arm design, motor design, platter and bearing design. A lot of what was learned in these signature models actually are what makes Extension and RPM so special. But signature is our maximum expression of what we can do. The best possible metalwork, the tightest tolerances, the most beautiful finishes. These are very, very special products in the $6,500 to $14,000 range. So these are going to be our flagships that we would put up against some of the finest turntables in the world. Just 2 models here. The Signature 12 is what you see on the screen. The platter alone on this product weighs in at almost 30 pounds. It's really a tremendous product to set up and operate. We love them. One other turntable line that we make is a wide range of special edition These are artist series and special edition turntables. These are limited edition. Global production in many cases is limited to 500 or 1,000 pieces, but we love to be able to offer these to our dealers. We've done collaborations with the Rolling Stones. We've done 5 or 6 different with the Beatles organization. We've done one with Hard Rock Cafe and Hard Rock Hotels. Tremendous number of different options out there. But just be aware that check these out on our websites. This is something we introduce a new artist series. It seems every 12 to 18 months, and typically they sell out pretty quickly. But just be aware that with the brand, with the capabilities like Pro-Ject, we're often being approached by other manufacturers, or excuse me, by brands that wish to do a custom edition turntable. So we're very pleased to be able to participate there. And here on the screen are just a few of those options. The Rolling Stones was a fun one, and that Yellow Submarine turntable we did with the Beatles and Apple Core was pretty tremendous. So always something fun happening from Pro-Ject on turntables. The next big segment that we offer is electronics. And often people don't think about Pro-Ject as an electronics company, but one of the things that those of you that are integrators especially, I really want to focus on is we're a really great solutions company. So if you have a client that perhaps already has a turntable and needs to be able to convert that to a digital signal, we make some great Phono Pre-Amplifiers that have digital outputs. We have a Phono Pre-Amp with a Bluetooth output. We have Phono Pre-Amps with USB outputs for recording, Bluetooth audio receivers. There's a lot of different ways that Pro-Ject enables you to integrate both analog sources and turntables, low-level analog sources, into a lot of different systems. So just keep that in mind. We're a really great electronic solutions company. As with turntables, there's a great, huge line of different products available. I'll just sort of step through the main lines and know that there's a lot of different products we could discuss in any of these lines. So E-Series, this is our most basic, but most affordable, but still very high performance line. And inside here, we have 3 different Phono Preamps. I mentioned before the Phono Preamp with a Bluetooth transmitter, a Phono Preamp with a digital audio output. It's actually what I have on screen here, the small white box in the bottom right-hand corner. Bluetooth audio receivers. We even have an affordable digital to analog converter. Let's say you have a client that you need to get sound from their television and out to a stereo system in analog. We have a really nice compact digital to analog converter for this. These small, low-profile products, they're all in a really nice little high-impact plastic case. These are the only products that we manufacture in Asia. And all of these price points, these are all down under $200 US. So many considerably under $100. But this is a great, very popular line for very basic solution products. Our Classic series, this is sometimes slightly older Pro-Ject products that we've kept in the line just due to popularity, mostly Phono Pre-Amplifiers. But this is the first place that you'll see Pro-Ject using vacuum tubes.
Jeff, sorry to interrupt you a little bit, but on the last slide, I had a couple of questions from some dealers. Is the Bluetooth box and aptX, it says a high resolution Bluetooth, or it's a regular Bluetooth?
It is not. So it's just Bluetooth. I believe we're doing Bluetooth 4.0, but not aptX for the output. This is mostly for compatibility. You know, as soon as you're running it through an A to D and then transmitting via Bluetooth, this is largely just to be able to get it out to that AV receiver or Bluetooth audio speaker in the room. We would always recommend a wired connection to get best fidelity out of a turntable system. Was that the only Bluetooth question?
Yes, thanks a lot.
Yeah, sure. On the Bluetooth receiver side, though, we do support aptX. So if you've got any, mobile phone or you're trying to stream high res, the Bluetooth audio receivers all are aptX compliant. Classic series. So this is the first place we love being able to give clients an affordable way to get vacuum tubes into a system. As you've discovered with some of the other lines, no doubt, tubes are great. They also can be very expensive. So at $400 US, the Tube Box S, this is a really nice way to add a little bit of tube warmth to a system, but just in the Phono Pre-Amp. They run cool. These tubes last for many years. They require almost no maintenance. This is a great way to get vacuum tubes involved in a setup. We also have some really nice full metal chassis Phono Pre-Amplifiers, and these are in the low $100 range. So they're starting at right around $79 for a really nice European-built metal chassis Phono Pre-Amp. So the Classic series, this is a really nice option, really attractive price points, nicely built, good sounding products. S2, this next series up, very compact footprint, only about 4 inches wide, about 4 inches deep, 1.25 inches tall. But in this line, we make a complete line of different solutions. What you see on the screen here, this is a very highly rated stereo digital preamp and digital to analog converter called the Prebox S2 Digital. This is our most affordable DAC that decodes MQA, can do very high resolution PCM, DSD, you name it, has analog output for connection to a stereo system, as well as a headphone output just for use in desktop audio system. But this is an absolute state-of-the-art DAC. This was an Absolute Sound Product of the Year in 2019, I believe. But this is a $500 US price point. In this same series and in that same size chassis, we manufacture a power amplifier, integrated amplifiers, dedicated analog headphone amps, different digital to analog converters, a whole line of Phono Pre-Amps, even a Bluetooth audio receiver. So a lot of different options that are available. But this one I love because if you have a client that has very limited space but still wants to do a real stereo, you could take one of our compact integrated amplifiers, or perhaps a stereo preamp and a power amp, connected to a set of Pro-Ject or Sonos Faber loudspeakers. You could have a really wonderful little system in a tiny space, something that wouldn't take up, certainly would take up less room than the headphones sitting next to it. These are all beautiful chassis, multi-panel, aluminum enclosure, all metal button caps. They have a really luxurious fit and finish and a wonderful feel to operate. And again, all European built, price points in the $150 to $800 range, depending on the product that we're discussing. The next electronics line from Pro-Ject is our DS2 line. Very similar solutions to what we offer in the S2 series. So again, digital to analog converters, stereo preamps, power amplifiers, integrated amps, Phono Pre-Amps, you name it. But inside the larger chassis, we're able to use more sophisticated audio circuitry, better, more tightly regulated power supply, and of course, more powerful amplifiers. We're also able to offer a CD transport in this line, because this is approximately 8 inches wide and about 6.5 inches deep, right about 3 inches tall. So it's a larger chassis. All of these are also available in black or silver, but in the larger chassis, we also have now a detachable magnetic wood side panel, which gives a really nice luxurious feel to the product. If it's sitting out on a tabletop and you don't want to just have the bare metal sides, we make a really beautiful either dark eucalyptus finish, the walnut, which you see on screen, and even a rose nut, just sort of a middle finish with walnut veneer, but with a more of a reddish tone to it. So beautiful product in the DS2. And then lastly, our latest award winners, which have been our reference series of components. It surprises people to think that Pro-Ject is really going after state-of-the-art in digital electronics, but we are. And actually, we won Product of the Year Digital Source this year for the CD transport that I show the transport detail here, and our companion stereo digital preamp and digital to analog converter. So in the reference series, all fully balanced, or at least balanced inputs, usually completely balanced internal design. We use a lot of vacuum tubes in this case in the preamplifier stage. And one of the things that we love in these is you have the option of listening either with the vacuum tubes engaged or with them out of the circuit. So it gives you an awful lot of flexibility on how you wish to listen to these systems. So fully Class A analog circuitry, tube and solid state. And again, in this lineup, we offer all the Phono Pre-Amplifiers, 2 different models, a rare high performance DAC, high performance preamp, some really good sounding, very compact power amplifiers that are Class A vacuum tube analog input, but use a high performance Class D output. So they run very cool, they don't take up much space, and they still put out about 150 watts per channel. So wonderful alternative to a huge component HiFi for those systems where you just don't have the space to do a large 100-pound power amplifier. We can still deliver very good performance. Like all of the S2, DS2 reference series and classic, these are all manufactured in the European Union. Really beautiful stuff. We're very, very proud to represent it. So just to sort of, wrap up on electronics, there's really the 3 principal areas where Pro-Ject is very, very good. So Phono Pre-Amplifiers, there simply is no other company that builds higher quality Phono preamps in the quantities that Pro-Ject does. The model that I have up on the screen here, the PhonoBox Ultra 500, this was a limited edition product that we introduced to commemorate our 500,000th Phono preamps. So 500,000 Phono preamps Pro-Ject has built in less than 30 years of business. And this is, we do an awful lot of them. We do a great job with them. Currently, there's 15 different models of Phono preamps in the line, depending on what application, what sort of electronics it needs to interface with, what sort of phono cartridge. And European built products are available starting at just $80 US. So very comprehensive, beautifully built, good sounding line. I leave you with this with Phono Pre-Amplifiers. From a function of gain, just the amount of electrical work that the device has to do, the Phono preamp actually works harder than the big power amplifiers or the preamplifiers or anything else in your system. So this is one area, even if you do have an affordable, good sounding AV receiver or something that has a Phono preamp in it, I have almost 100% of the time adding even a reasonably priced external Phono preamp is a great way to get additional performance out of a good turntable as compared to plugging it directly into an AV receiver. So it doesn't have to be a ton of money. Something in the sub $500 range will blow away the performance of what you're going to find in even a $3,000 or $4,000 AV receiver. So really a must-have upgrade for any system. Digital sources and DACs. It's getting harder and harder to find affordable digital sources. Pro-Ject actually manufactures 2 different CD transports at this time. So if you have clients that are listening to just good old Redbook compact discs, know that we have a couple of solutions that are very good sounding. In the last 3 years, Pro-Ject 4 has won 4 different ISA Best Product Awards in digital category. So 1 for a very high performance Roon ready streamer, 2 different DAC products, and a CD transport. So while people know us primarily as an analog company, please remember that we do offer a wide range of very competently engineered, really good sounding and affordable European digital electronics. As far as DACs, we don't partner up with any one individual company. We do this because we want to be able to offer a wide range solutions. So if you look at our little portable DAC or our E-Series DAC, we use a chipset from a company called Cirrus Logic. We use ESS Saber DACs in some products. In some others, we use AKM DAC chipsets. It's really all about what we feel is going to give us the best performance for that particular application and that particular price point. So some really wonderful stuff in a wide range. And as we mentioned before, complete stereo solutions. So not just in terms of connectivity. There's a Pro-Ject product that'll connect a turntable to just about any system you need it to. But we also offer some really wonderful complete solutions. We have great sounding compact bookshelf speakers, stereo amplifiers, digital sources, analog sources, and everything in between, even loudspeaker cables and interconnects. So there's a lot of different options available to you from Pro-Ject from an electronic standpoint. And accessories. This is the other big important thing when we start talking to people that have record collections and are into playing back vinyl. There's always that sort of, how do you care for and love these your records and your vinyl playback? So our biggest category for accessories is really care and cleaning, and we offer a wide range of solutions here. So whether it's a simple record brush like you see in the bottom right hand corner, or a stylus brush to keep the actual tip of that diamond stylus clean. We have some wonderful, the Sweep It, that bottom left hand corner image, it's a record broom that actually helps keep the record clean while playing. And we even offer 2 different vacuum cleaning solutions. These are great ways if the client wants to really apply the fluid, get down deep into the grooves, and then we're able to pull all that dirt and grime right off the surface of the record. But these are great, great, great solutions for helping people keep their records as clean as possible and keep their system sounding its best. We offer a whole line of these, and I like to point these out because it just allows you to buy, your turntable, preamplifiers, electronics, accessories, all under one roof. The catalog of Pro-Ject products available to you is going to be kind of dizzying. That's going to be one of our hardest jobs, I think. Polaris staff is determining, sort of which products we have available. And one last thing, and this is outside of the world of Pro-Ject, actually, as is the accessories. Any manufacturer's turntable is going to perform better if it's on a good, stable base. In the simplest case, we find that many people like to have a low stand where they put the speakers on top of that low boy stand, and they like to show the turntable right in the middle of it. So something simple like the Damp It pads. These are great little, basically neoprene isolating pads that can go directly underneath the loudspeaker to protect the turntable from vibrations created by the loudspeaker if they're on the same surface. This is a perfect solution for those small systems, maybe an office or a bedroom or somebody, or even a living room, where they're not going to dedicate a proper audio rack. The next step up from that, we offer isolation platforms. These are a wonderful way to isolate any manufacturer's turntable. The Ground It 2, Ground It 3, which I have an image of here, works beautifully on the Macintosh turntables as well. But this is nice if you're in an environment where there is a lot of energy in the room. Maybe the client bought a huge pair of loudspeakers and likes to play the system very loudly. Maybe we were joking about Bad Bunny before, that's you're playing some of this real bass heavy music. Maybe this is a great way to isolate that turntable from it. And then lastly, of course, wall mounts. We offer a full range of different wall mounts. If you wanted to permanently mount a turntable to the wall, whether that's in a drywall or a cement type construction, we offer a wide range of different wall stands that help completely isolate the turntable from any floor-borne vibration. So that completes at least the Pro-Ject portion. I wanted to give just a few minutes of introduction to Sumiko Phono cartridges, which is really such an important part of what we do at Macintosh Group. This is a brand that is very, very near and dear to our hearts. Because Pro-Ject, we love this product. It's a great line, and it's brought us a lot of success over the years. But Sumiko is our own. This is a line that we've been manufacturing. Since 1982. Sumiko has been both an audio distributor and a manufacturer. So our primary focus these days, so on the distribution side, of course, is to bring products like Pro-Ject, Rotel, and Basso Continuo to the Americas, the Caribbean, but also on the Sumiko Phono cartridge, it's how do we get absolute state-of-the-art performance out of this playback of records that we all love so much. A big part of this in the last 4 or 5 years has been the redesign of Sumiko and really establishing what we call a house sound, so that no matter which cartridge you're going to choose, you have a general idea of our goals and what sort of a sonic signature we were looking for when we wanted to get that product out to the world. So for us, it's very, very simple. We have a very practical requirement that we want these cartridges, when properly set up on a turntable, we want them to be able to track the greatest possible range of records. Because one of the realities we find is that, you might be a music lover, but that doesn't mean that your records are always pristine. So we want to make sure that we can extract as much music from even records that aren't perfect, and also be able to play the widest dynamic range from the best recorded records in the world. So know that for the Sumiko cartridges, every single one has been designed around trackability. The other thing that's very important to us is to have a very musical, very non-fatiguing sonic presentation. So what this means for us is we just want something when you put the stylus gets down in the groove and starts playing music, it's not overly accenting one range of tones over another. You're going to get a very balanced presentation with good bass weight, nice detailed treble, but not too much extra presence. You're not going to be sitting there turning the volume down after a few minutes going, it's just too much detail or too much treble. So we really worked hard to make sure that the cartridges do that. A lot of that in our latest designs has been all about controlling inside resonance inside the cartridges. We'll spend a lot more time with this in a dedicated Sumiko cartridge only presentation, some of the things that we've done. But just know that, overall, whether you're buying a Rainier or a Palo Santos, the range of cartridges are really designed to have a similar overall feel. Every single one of these, from our least expensive Sumiko Oyster all the way up to our flagship Palo Santos presentation, these are all handmade in Japan by very, very skilled artisans who absolutely love and excel at the creation of these devices that can reproduce analog music. They're beautiful products. We've done a much better job in the recent history of getting these products out into the world and getting a lot more reviews and presence around them. Here's just a few that we've run in the last several months. But Absolute Sound, we had 4 different phono cartridges on their recommended components and golden year lists. Part-time audiophile, absolute rave reviews on our Songbird, tone publications with our Amethyst, acoustics, a lot of different mentions out there in the press. So know that we're working hard to build this brand and make sure that it's something that vinyl lovers and people interested in high performance music, they're going to hear more about Sumiko as a brand. So very simple, 2 different lineups that we'd focus on. The most popular and what you're going to be seeing most out there in the world are our moving coil series. And this is what we call the Oyster line, with one exception, that every single product that's named after a type of oyster is going to be a moving magnet design. And we'll talk about the exception in a moment. But these start around the $80 US, run up to around $600 US. The beauty of these cartridges is that they work well on just about any turntable you're going to find. So if a client has a very an older, high quality Japanese turntable that they love from the 90s, or sorry, from the 70s or 80s even, know that you could mount a Rainier or a Pearl or an Amethyst on that and get very good performance. All of these have a field replaceable stylus. So for the use that are out there doing installations, this is really important. If you're install a Sumiko Rainier, if the client comes in, the cleaner knocks into the stylus and rips it out of the bottom of the cartridge, know that you could very easily remove that stylus and replace it out in the field without having to completely reinstall the cartridge. So it really does, it makes things a lot easier for you for installed products. This also gives us a really nice upgrade path. So if you started client on a more affordable cartridge but still high performance, like our Rainier, retails in the $150 range, you could move them all the way up to a $400 Moonstone, or $300 Moonstone, excuse me, just by replacing the stylus. So it gives you a nice upgrade path. All of these, as I mentioned before, very big focus on trackability So their ability to ride in the grooves and extract as much music as possible from a wide range of records, and a really nice tonal balance. So just really great, easygoing cartridges. You know, we find that we don't disparage other manufacturers in our conversations, but we find that a lot of our peers out there really stress on their affordable cartridges. They try to say, oh, wow, they're so detailed, they're so exciting, by like, it's kind of like taking the equalizer, the old equalizer, and sliding up the bars on the treble and the bass. It's exciting initially, but you get really tired of it. So these are great overall balance, really fun for a lot of different systems. Oh my goodness. I can't believe my headers are reversed. I apologize. So up, this should say moving magnet series Oyster line, and the next should say moving coil series. I missed that on my preview. I apologize. So on our moving coil series, our reference line, these are more expensive designs. The idea of a moving coil system is it has lighter mass, so it can actually trace more delicately in the groove of the record and can extract more musical information. The downside of these mechanisms is that they're going to be much more delicate and they cannot be field replaced. So just throwing that out. A moving coil system, as you can see here, these are all that exposed, the exposed generator, the exposed cantilever on the cartridge itself. They're a lot more delicate. They can produce much better sound, but they're also going to cost more and be something you have to be more careful with. So these guys, when it's properly set up, they're going to run with the best phono cartridges in the world. We absolutely love the line. The new Starling, Songbird, we're about to launch a new one in the Celebration line. Fantastic performers. So if you have that client that has a better quality phono preamplifier, maybe they have a Macintosh stereo preamp that has a great moving coil stage built into it, or they're going to purchase a better Pro-Ject moving coil capable preamplifier. These are some great options to get those clients into. Just like with our moving magnet designs though, we offer the same sort of tremendous tracking ability. And we really go for that really nice, even-handed frequency balance across the whole range of tones. So this is our overall goal with the Sumiko cartridges, whether it be a moving magnet or moving coil design. One additional note here, when we discuss Pro-Ject and Sumiko, right around that $2,000 US price point, up to $2,000, most Pro-Ject turntables come from the factory with a phono cartridge already installed. So it makes your installation in the field fairly simple. You're going to balance the tone arm, properly set the amount of weight that it'll apply in the groove, and you're ready to go. Above $2,000, we're expecting that you're going to be able to set up and align that arm properly in the field. As a result, those products come without a phono cartridge, but we do make what we call available a super pack. So we haven't worked through the details with the Polaris team yet, but we will have an opportunity that when you purchase a Pro-Ject turntable that comes without a cartridge, you could purchase a good quality companion phono cartridge at the same time and match those two up at a discount. So just be aware that we do offer some really nice packages. We've had a lot of time listening to different models with phono cartridges built in, or excuse me, from the factory, and then putting our own cartridges on them. So we can make some great recommendations on what works well. And it looks like we actually ended a couple of moments early here. So I'd like to thank you. I know it's a lot of information to climb through. There's all of that detailed information is at projectusa.com and SumikoPhonoCartridges.com. And I'm sure, assuming that I'm invited back, we'll have much more detailed presentations on specific products in the future.
Of course, thank you very much, Jeff. It was a very complete presentation. We have already we have dealers that are very interested in both brands, and we're looking forward to moving this Pro-Ject audio systems and Sumiko phono cartridges. We also have a few questions. For example, there was a question asking for entry-level turntable systems. What do you prefer? Like integrated preamp systems or all separate?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it really depends on the application. What we've seen, if you're plugging it into an AV receiver or into like a powered speaker or distributed audio system, I really like an integrated high quality preamp. It simplifies things. There's less opportunity to pick up noise or interference. That's why our T1 Phono SB, which is about a $400 US price point, that's been a huge product for us, as has its big brother, the debut 3 Phono SB. So in that case, yeah, but if you're using it with, if you want a really high performance set and you don't mind adding an outboard preamp, let's say you're using it maybe an entry level turntable, but you have a better quality stereo system. In that case, something like a debut Carbon Evo with an outboard preamp, absolutely going to get better performance.
Another question that we have is when you're deciding on which phono cartridge to buy, does it depend on what type of music do you hear?
Yes, it can. Sure. What we find, especially if people are listening to, let me rewind. It probably has more to do with how you listen as opposed to what type of music. If you're the type of person that's going to sit there and really focus and just kind of try to pick out every instrument, in that case, a moving coil design is going to produce more detail. You're going to get a more spacious stereo stage. You're going to enjoy more musical accuracy. If you're the type of person that wants to be able to listen and really enjoy as you're walking around the house, maybe you're cooking, you're having friends over, a moving magnet design is going to have a little more punch to it. And it's also going to be probably better suited for dance and rock and that sort of music than a moving coil might. But one of the things that we go a long way is I've heard some straight ahead just hip hop and rap on a $4,000 cartridge that sounded amazing. So if you're the type of listener that's going to enjoy all types of music, go moving coil.
Okay. Thank you for the answers.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Very complete presentation. Gracias, amigos, por acompañarnos hoy en esta presentación. En 10 minutos empezamos lo que es el foro de preguntas y respuestas y los esperamos a todos. Thank you, Jeff.
Yamil, no sé si has estado viendo las preguntas que están en la cajita de GoToWebinar.
Okay. A ver. Okay, there's a customer that is asking. He has a debut Carbon Spirit SB.
Okay.
And looking for a phono preamp. What do you recommend?
Sure. What? Any idea what they're connecting it to?
Let me ask.
Yeah, no problem. So if he's got the stock, that cartridge came stock with an Ortofon 2M Red. So anything from the PhonoBox DC on up. So I'd probably go PhonoBox S2 or S2 Ultra. So something in the $200 to $300 range be a really good match for that turntable.
Okay. Good.
You can certainly go more basic or more expensive, but we find that's sort of where people, that's a $600 retail turntable with the cartridge. So we typically find that's the range. People go that $200 to $300.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay. Gracias, señores. Aquí concluimos el día en esta presentación. Gracias por todo.
Estaremos en una sesión tipo pregunta y respuesta durante la hora de las 12 del día, 1 de la tarde, hora de Miami. Eso es en aproximadamente 11 minutos para cualquier pregunta que puedan tener. Ahí podemos hablar de cualquier cosa, de la vida, podemos hablar de los bares, de las salidas en serie, los viajes a Panamá, todo lo que quieran. A la 1 tenemos otro foro muy interesante con 4 líderes en las categorías de HiFi y teatros dedicados. Ahí esa será una buena charla también, igual que la de ayer, para los tips para aquellos que se quieran meter en este mundo HiFi o para los que quieran incursionar en el mundo teatros dedicados. Le damos las gracias a el amigo Jeff Coates de Pro-Ject y Sumiko Distribution. Estamos a la orden para cualquier pregunta. Jeff, I was just saying thank you for your time and your team, and we're looking forward to be a part of your team with Pro-Ject as well. So thank you very much.
That's our pleasure. We look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Let's do it. Así que ya saben, amigos, cualquier pregunta, escríbanos. Estaremos a las 12 atendiendo cualquier pregunta, etcétera. Temas del más allá. Creo que Juan Pablo estará sacando unas tarjetas de tarot para el futuro, leer el futuro. Y a la 1 tenemos el foro y continuamos con 3 sesiones adicionales en la tarde.
Así es, puedo ver el futuro y parte de lo que veo es al Real Madrid ganando el día de hoy, así que vamos.
Así que gracias, señores. Buen día. Thanks, Jeff.